Start with high-stakes talks between U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff and Russian President Vladimir Putin on the war in Ukraine. The Kremlin says those talks were useful and productive. Witkoff met with President Putin for about 3 hours on a mission to get a peace deal to end the ongoing 3.5-year war. That war started with Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The talks come just 2 days before President Trump's deadline for Russia to agree to a peace deal or face new sanctions. The president also said he will order secondary tariffs of 100% on any country trading with Russia if the deadline is not met. So let's get to the White House and CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand. Natalie, thank you for joining us today. Any details on those talks from the White House just yet?
Good morning, Mugo. We've been asking and we are still waiting for details about those talks, whether any progress was made during that meeting between Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the Russian president. This comes as Friday would mark that 10-day deadline that President Trump threatened for Russia to make a ceasefire or peace deal or else face these steeper sanctions, secondary tariffs on countries that buy Russian oil. What we do have this morning is an announcement by the president officially signing an executive order announcing an additional 25% tariff on India for continued purchase of Russian oil. That's the reasoning that the president is giving here. He, said that he threatened India with that, and today he has made good on that promise. The question, Mugo, is whether action will be taken against other countries that buy Russian oil, for instance, China, where, the U.S. is having continued trade negotiations with China ahead of an August 12th tariff truce deadline. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of other secondary sanctions are announced.
Yeah, and Natalie, CBS News has learned that President Trump is making a big announcement today about an investment from Apple here in the U.S. What do we know about that?
The White House is saying that Apple will announce an additional $100 billion of investment in the United States. Keep in mind that Apple had previously announced back in February $500 billion. So this will be on top of that. And the White House saying that as part of this announcement, it will include an American manufacturing program to bring more of Apple's supply chain back to the United States. As we know, this has been a stated priority and goal of the administration's tariff policy to bring more production and supply chain manufacturing back to the U.S. from overseas. Experts have said, that's going to be difficult, will bring with it cost and time, will take a lot of time to try to onshore, some of this infrastructure and workforce that has been built up in other places like China and India. But as we've seen in past months, the president has threatened Apple with tariffs if it didn't take steps to bring more supply chain back to the U.S. So now we have this updated announcement. We are expecting to see Apple CEO Tim Cook here at the White House later today when they officially make this announcement later this afternoon.
Okay, and let's talk about the Jeffrey Epstein saga, because CNN is reporting that top Trump officials will meet tonight at Vice President J.D. Vance's residence. The meeting would come after the House Oversight Committee issued subpoenas in the probe. So do we know what could possibly be discussed tonight during that meeting?
Yeah, and we should just make clear that CBS News has asked about this reporting by CNN, but has not confirmed that meeting will be taking place tonight. That's, again, CNN's reporting that this is a meeting of officials to talk strategy as the administration faces scrutiny over how it's handled the Epstein release of documents, or, a lot of people saying they have not gone nearly far enough have to be transparent and release the files as promised. As you noted, it also comes as the House Oversight Committee over on Capitol Hill issued subpoenas for former DOJ officials and even former President Bill Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. They want to hear testimony from them about the case. Here's more of what House Oversight Committee Chair James Comr had to say.
The Democrats voted for it. I don't know that they realized what they voted for, but they voted for a subpoena for the Clintons, and because it was voted on by Congress in a bipartisan manner, I think that'll have good standing in court.
He's referencing that it was a bipartisan vote. If you go back to that vote, the House Oversight Committee voted to release files from the Department of Justice in addition to those subpoenas, as lawmakers across both parties are really pressing for more information on the case and the handling of it by this administration and past administrations as well.
And we shall wait and see what happens moving forward. Natalie Brand at the White House for us today. Thank you.